Washington's worst-kept secret is out. U.S. President Joe Biden has finally officially announced his re-election bid for 2024. The 80-year-old urged voters to give him a second chance to, quote, finish the job. However, the road remain in the White House for another 4 years will not be easy for him. Will the Democrat leader face growing challenges for his bid, like his ripe age, or will he be successful in staying at the White House as he redefines old age?
Still relishing the battle with the wind and waves, an 88-year-old Polish retiree hopes to become the world's oldest windsurfer. In Japan, a friendly football match kicks off. What's interesting? All the players are aged 80 and above. But why are we talking about elderly people? Well, those days are long gone where the elderly used to just sit at home and relax. Remember the phrase, age is just a number? Well, these people are living up to it. And now we have Joe Biden. The current president of the United States, the 80-year-old, has officially announced his re-election bid for 2024.
Let's go, Joe! Let's go, Joe! Let's go, Joe!
Thank you. Thank you.
This is the 80-year-old Democrat leader, and as Biden runs for the presidency again in 2024, he faces a host of challenges. From what appears a never-ending war in Ukraine, a belligerent China, apart from domestic issues like inflation. But there is more immediate focus on his age, which makes his re-election bid a historic one and also a risky gamble for the Democratic Party. Biden is the oldest person to have occupied the White House and would be 86 at the end of a second four-year term. About half of U.S. Democrats say U.S. President Joe Biden should not seek re-election next year and that he is too old to run.
He's going to be 82 should he be reelected, and if he serves out the entirety of a second term, he'll be closer to 90 than he will be to 80. And this raises lots of concerns, justifiable concerns in my view, about his ability to fulfill all the obligations of the office, concerns about his health, his ability to actually finish out a second term, and what that means for the possibility of a President Harris stepping in. There are lots of concerns that are raised in that space.
The concerns are whether he would be fit enough to weather the rigor of the office. Remember, he is the commander-in-chief of the world's most powerful military. But Biden is determined to be back in the Oval Office, touting his achievements and vowing to keep America first.
Our economic plan is working. We now have to finish the job, but there's more to do. And you're leading the way, shovels in the ground, cranes in the air, factories opening, all those jobs, meaning we created. My economic plan, as McGarvey said, is blue-collar blueprint to rebuild America, and that's what we're doing, rebuilding America.
While there are concerns over his age, when Americans look at the other option, then there is not much of an age difference. Donald J. Trump might look younger in appearance, but he too would be touching the 80s and is raring to go at Biden.
Ukraine has been devastated by an invasion that would never, ever have happened if I was president. And Joe Biden has led us to the very brink of World War III. They say Trump was right about everything. Well, I'm not predicting World War III, but I will say this, we're very close, and they're only talking about nuclear weapons.
Biden would be 86 by the end of a prospective second term. That's almost a decade higher than the average US male's life expectancy. And for the record, White House records say he is fit for duty. With no senior Democrat showing a challenge to him, we could well have a Biden-Trump redux come next year. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
For more on this, we are being joined by Adele Nazarian from Washington, D.C. She is a media fellow at Gold Institute for International Strategy. Thank you so much for joining us, Adele, and welcome back to WION. So this video that President Biden put out screams one key point, and that is that the Biden team desperately wants a rematch with Donald Trump instead of running on his own record. What are your thoughts on that?
Great to be on with you again, Susan. So I just want to point out that not to say that President Biden, should he secure another nomination and another victory in the general election, only 8 presidents have died in office, 4 of them of natural causes. So it's a very, very far and few in between. And the likelihood, frankly, of a incumbent president from Republican or Democrat side losing the nomination in the primary and the convention to go on to the general election is very slim. There's just one case that I can point to regarding, I think it was in the 1952, actually, when Harry Truman lost the primary to a senator at the time, Kefauver. But unfortunately, at the time, primaries were not the main method of delegate selection for the national convention. And Kefauver ended up not winning to he lost to someone named John Sparkman, who ended up going on to lose to Eisenhower. But it's very, very rare for a incumbent president, again, to lose the primary. And I think that if this is the case, which it likely is, that President Biden will secure the nomination for the general election. Whether or not it's President Trump, that remains to be seen.
You know, some believe that the Democrats are terrified of the alternative, and that would be Kamala Harris. That's why everyone's bowed out. And as you mentioned, you know, the likelihood of not securing the nomination is slim to none. But what about his record? Unprecedented federal spending, inflation at a 4-year high, declining real incomes. We have this worsening of culture wars, despite the fact that he said he was going to bring the country together. And then you have this growing disorder and declining U.S. influence in the world as well. So do none of these matter?
It's an excellent point. You know, I think that the importance of this election cycle is going to be focusing on the issues. And whether it's Trump or DeSantis or whoever it is on the Republican ticket that's going to face off against most likely President Biden, we'll have to focus on the issues. And that's certainly where I think the American people are going to be looking, because it's way past the time of criticizing or electing candidates based on their personalities. I think both Biden and Trump have their own unique personalities and have said many outlandish things. So that's par for the course. But truly, it's going to boil down to which candidate is going to be able to bring the country together, as opposed to just saying it and in fact implementing policies to divide the country further, and who's going to be be able to help, frankly, America's reputational damage that has been suffered on the global scale, which the economy also will directly be impacted by.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, many have been also criticized former President Donald Trump, should he become the Republican nominee, that he's also looking backwards and he should focus more on the issues as well. Adele, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for joining us on WION.
Thank you. Pleasure is mine.